Heartwarming miracle. Millionaire discovers little girl's crutch and transforms her life forever. In a vibrant suburban neighborhood, the air buzzed with joy as children raced around, the thud of soccer balls echoing in the warm summer evenings. But among the laughter, a 10-year-old girl named Emily sat by her backyard fence, her heart full of dreams yet held back by her crutch. Each day, she watched her friends play, longing to kick a ball, to run, to feel the rush of being one of them. But her disability cast a long shadow over her hopes, and school bullies were relentless, teasing her for what she couldn't do. "Why can't I just be like them?" Emily muttered, her grip tightening around her crutch. Her devoted mother, Sarah, worked multiple jobs. Each night, long after the streetlights flickered on, she hustled to make ends meet, embodying the American spirit of perseverance and sacrifice. Emily was proud of her mom, but sometimes, it felt like the world was too unforgiving. Neighbors knew each other's names, they shared meals, garden tips, and helped each other with the kids. But to Emily, this closeness felt like a cruel reminder of her isolation. She practiced kicking her soccer ball against the shed, dreaming of the days she joined those games, the exhilaration of running freely. Enter Henry, a successful businessman long removed from the innocence of childhood. He returned to his old neighborhood for a community outreach initiative he reluctantly attended. As he strolled down familiar streets, memories flooded back. It was amidst the gathering of locals that he stumbled upon Emily's forgotten crutch, leaning against a weathered fence, a stark symbol of resilience and struggle. Intrigued, he took a step closer and learned her story. Her dreams, her battles, and the love of her hard-working mother gripped his heart. Reminded of his own childhood dreams, he felt the weight of guilt shift within him. He had closed his eyes to those less fortunate. Inspired by Emily's spirit, he envisioned ways to support her, but knew his privileged upbringing might cast a shadow over his intentions. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As he reached out to Emily and her mother, skepticism trickled through the community. Some questioned his sincerity, whispering their doubts and reminding each other of the economic chasm that separated them. Henry felt the sting of their judgment, but he was determined to prove that kindness mattered above all else. At the pivotal summer event where Emily was to showcase her unique abilities, excitement buzzed through the air, thick with anticipation. She would kick her first goal on that field, and Henry planned to support her every step of the way. But as murmurs swirled around him, doubt gripped his heart once again. Would his efforts to lift Emily up be seen as genuine or a mere facade? With every kick Emily takes, with every cheer that rises, the atmosphere crackled with emotion. It was a moment that could either unite a community or intensify its divisions. For Emily, the dream of inclusion shimmered ahead, but would the reality surpass the obstacles that loomed like shadows around her? As she stepped forward, determination etched into her small frame, the stakes soared. Would they break through the barriers and build a bridge of unity? Or would their hopes slip through their fingers like grains of sand? Just as a quiet hope flickered, the community held its breath. The day of the summer event dawned with a brilliant blue sky, the sun casting a warm glow over the soccer field. Emily stood poised at the edge, her heart racing like a drumbeat in her chest. This was her moment. A vibrant crowd gathered, filled with families, friends, and neighbors, their voices blending into an electrifying chorus of support. The air hummed with anticipation. Emily felt it in her bones. But even amidst the excitement, doubt shadowed her determination. She glanced at the field, clenching her crutch tightly. What if she stumbled? What if everyone laughed? Each possibility tugged at her confidence, trying to squeeze her hopes into a tight little ball of fear. But then she saw him. Henry was standing at the sideline, his eyes shining with encouragement. For the first time, she felt a flicker of belief. Just remember why you're here, he had told her the day before. You're not alone in this. You've inspired so many already. His words echoed in her mind as she took a deep breath, the scent of freshly cut grass filling her lungs. She straightened her back and pushed the crutch harder into the ground for support. As the whistle blew, a cheer erupted around her. Emily's friends, her mother, and even some of the neighbors she hardly knew were clapping and shouting her name. "Go, Emily!" they yelled, and suddenly, the world felt like a high-speed movie directed just for her. With a burst of energy, Emily moved onto the field, her heart racing as she approached the goalposts. She took a moment to focus, adjusting her grip on the crutch, which had become an extension of her own body rather than a limitation. She visualized herself running freely, the wind in her hair, laughter echoing around her. Henry moved to the sidelines, his excitement palpable. He saw how Emily wasn't just competing but blooming into her own. He could feel the crowd's energy shift, their doubts melting away as they witnessed her bravery. She was more than a little girl with a crutch. She was a testament to hope, resilience, and community spirit. Emily lined up to take her shot. Time seemed to freeze. The crowd held its breath. Would this be a moment of triumph or disappointment? The only sound was the steady pounding of her heart and the distant call of cheering children. She kicked forward with all her might, propelling the ball across the field. It soared beautifully, curveballing straight toward the net. As the ball hit the back of the net with a satisfying thud, the crowd went wild. Joy exploded all around her, people leaping to their feet, shouting, "Way to go, Emily!" Her heart sang louder than the cheers. In that moment, all the past doubts and sorrows faded. A dazzling spark filled her spirit. But as Emily celebrated, she caught a glimpse of something in the back of the crowd, a familiar face twisted in disbelief and resentment, a memory of harsh words echoing from school. The reminder of her past struggles loomed ominously, as if testing whether this moment of joy could overcome the shadows lurking behind her. Was this victory an end to her struggle, or merely the beginning of something even greater? The tension in the air thickened, and with it, Emily's excitement intertwined with uncertainty. Her crutch had carried her far, but was she truly ready to accept the support offered by Henry and the community? As the cheers washed over her, Emily took a deep breath, both elated and anxious. Would she find the courage to embrace this new chapter, or let fear win again? And just as hope flickered like a candlelight, the next challenge loomed larger than life. A wave of exhilaration swept over Emily as she stood on the field, her friends and family surrounding her, voices raised in celebration. But past the cheers, a knot of uncertainty twisted in her stomach. She had scored, but the bitter memories of doubt still hovered behind her, waiting to strike when she was most vulnerable. Feeling the adrenaline ebb, she lowered her crutch and took a step back. The cheers faded, replaced by the dull thrum of her pulse in her ears. It was as if the world had shifted. She felt wonderfully alive yet dangerously exposed. Suddenly, everything didn't feel so simple. "Emily! That was amazing!" A voice broke through her spiral of thoughts. It was Sarah, her best friend, running over, her brown curls bouncing wildly. "You really did it! I can't believe how far you kicked that ball!" A smile broke across Emily's face. She watched as Sarah's face glowed with pride. "Thanks. It felt good," she offered, trying to mimic the excitement she craved to feel entirely. But even in her moment of joy, doubt lingered, a reminder of that one face she had seen in the crowd. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone was waiting for her to fail, just as they had before. Her crutch felt heavier now, as if it bore the weight of all her insecurities. Emily looked to where the crowd had gathered, searching for that familiar silhouette among the throng. Just then, she spotted him, Jared, the boy from school whose words still echoed in her mind. He had always made her feel small, like a shadow against the brilliance of brighter stars. But today, standing amid those who adored her, she fought to reclaim her confidence. "Are you coming to the after-party?" Sarah asked, wiping sweat from her brow. "Yeah, I think so. Just need to catch my breath," Emily replied, turning her focus back to her friend. But in her heart, a new thought emerged. What if she faced Jared? Would it be worth it? After scoring, "You're a superstar," Sarah beamed, unaware of Emily's internal struggle. We should go celebrate. Everyone's going to be talking about you. I know, Emily said, biting her lip. But I just doubt drizzled her hope like rain on a sunny day. Before she could finish, a thick voice sliced through the air. Nice kick, Emily. It was Jared, moving closer with a handful of friends, their eyes swirling with mixed emotions. Emily held her breath. The world around her seemed to shrink. Would he mock her? Would his friends join in? But there was something different in his tone, an unexpected hint of admiration. Thanks, she managed, focusing on meeting his gaze. I'm really happy about it. You should be. His eyes held steady, yet there was an underlying softness she hadn't anticipated. Struggling between confrontation and the urge to step away, Emily took a breath. This moment could define her, a decisive point between the past and whatever new strength lay in the future. As the crowd surged around her, Emily made a quiet choice. Maybe I can inspire others, even someone like Jared, she thought, feeling a spark of warmth. Just then, Henry emerged from the sidelines, a proud grin plastered on his face. Look at you, Emily! You're a champion! That declaration hit her like a wave of encouragement. Suddenly, the weight of her crutch felt lighter. Hope fluttered, buoyed by a sense of connection to something greater. But the impending school year loomed ahead. Would the lightness last? Would she rise to the occasion despite the doubts? As cheers erupted again, Emily found herself standing at the edge of a new opportunity, poised for something more beyond just summer fun. Emily took a deep breath, the excitement in the air suffusing her with a mix of hope and apprehension. The laughter and cheers faded into the background, replaced by her swirling thoughts. Jared's presence lingered like a heavy mist, a reminder of the challenges she had faced. But with every cheer from her friends, she felt a flicker of resilience. Let us go! Sarah's bright energy pulled Emily back into the moment. Everyone's waiting. She grabbed Emily's arm and began leading her toward the edge of the field, a path lined with friends who were eager to celebrate. Hold on! Emily called, the spark fading as she glanced back at Jared and his friends. They were still watching her, their expressions unreadable. Gathered in a tight circle, they were a world of coolness, and she felt like an outsider for a moment. Are you okay? Sarah asked, slowing her pace, noticing the flicker of doubt in Emily's eyes. Yeah, Emily hesitated. Could she confront her fears head-on? What if he says something? Or laughs? What if everyone remembers how I used to be? Hey, Sarah squeezed her hand gently. This is your moment. You kicked that ball like a pro. Who cares what he thinks? Taking in a deep breath, Emily nodded. It was time to reclaim her story. As they stepped closer to the celebration, laughter erupted around them. The essence of summer filled the air, with kids playing and parents chatting. Emily caught sight of her brother, Henry, gathering everyone for pictures, a camera flung around his neck like a badge of honor. Over here, Emily! He shouted, waving for her to join. You've got to immortalize this moment. Emily stepped forward, fighting back the remnants of doubt. She found herself at the very heart of the celebration, feeling the warmth of friendship enveloping her like a blanket. As she smiled for photos, she felt the lens capturing not just her image, but her emerging confidence. Just then, a small voice piped up. Emily! You were so cool out there! A little girl with pigtails ran up to her, her face lit with pure admiration. Thanks. You think so? Emily responded, her heart swelling with warmth. Totally. Maybe next time, you can show me how to kick the ball like that. The girl bounced on her toes, making Emily laugh. A raw and powerful wave of emotion surged through her. This little girl saw her potential, the strength she was working to embody. And then, just like that, she caught Jared's eye again. He was close, surrounded by friends, but watching her intently. There was something different in his gaze, no mockery, just curiosity. There was an open door where there used to be a wall. Emily! Sarah called, pulling her from her thoughts. Come on, let us join the group. As they headed toward Jared and his friends, Emily's heart raced. This was the moment. She could feel the buildup of courage swelling inside her. "Hey!" she said as they reached the group, her voice steady despite the tremble in her hands. "Hey," Jared replied, a half-smile playing on his lips. "You really rocked it out there today." A spark of surprise flickered in her chest. "Thanks, that means a lot," she replied, looking him square in the eye. "Wanna join us for a game? I think you'd fit right in." His words hung in the air, like an invitation engraved with possibilities. Emily hesitated, excitement battling with familiar doubt. What if she failed again? But then she thought of Henry, of the little girl, of all the cheers she had received from her friends. "You know what? I'd love to," she finally said, her voice stronger than before. As the sun began to set, painting the sky gold, Emily felt a current of transformation unrolling inside her. She was no longer just a girl with a crutch. She was an athlete, a teammate, and perhaps even a friend. But just as she stepped forward, a sharp shout cut through the air. "Hey! Is that Emily? I can't believe she is still trying." The voice echoed mockingly, and her heart sank. Was she ready to face that voice once more? Would she rise above the familiar pain? A gust of determination surged, urging her to respond. "Let us see how this changes." Everything, she whispered under her breath, her heart pounding. At the sound of the mocking voice, Emily felt a knot of anger twist in her stomach. It was Kevin, someone who had known her when she struggled to take even a few steps. The memories of her past echoed in her mind, moments when their laughter had felt like knives, but suddenly, she wasn't that same girl anymore. "Just ignore him," Sarah whispered, sensing the tension between them. But this time, ignoring didn't feel like enough. Emily squared her shoulders and took a step forward. "I'm not still trying," she called back, forcing a smile that felt more real with every second. "I'm succeeding." The words came out stronger than she had expected, and a ripple of silence spread over the group, all eyes turning toward her. A part of her felt exposed, like she was standing naked under the spotlight. But another part felt liberating. "Wow, you got guts," Jared said, a hesitant respect in his voice. "Very cool." Her heart thumped with a strange mix of triumph and uncertainty. Could this day really be different? "Let us show him we can play," she heard Sarah whisper fiercely, fists clenched in faux combat. Emily chuckled despite the seriousness of the moment. "Game on," she replied, grinning at her friend as they joined the circle of players. The ball lay between them, and the enthusiasm buzzed like electricity in the warm evening air. As the game started, Emily felt her adrenaline spike. Each kick, each sprint forward, took her further from the boundaries of her old life. Sharpened by the cheers of her friends and the curious glances from Jared, she pushed through fatigue, claiming every play as hers. For a fleeting moment, all the doubts melted away as she focused on the game. The part of her that had been ashamed was now buried beneath layers of determination. She remembered the little girl's words. "Maybe next time, you can show me how to kick the ball like that." With every successful pass, Emily felt as if she was telling herself that very same thing. But just as she was on the verge of scoring her first goal, Kevin's voice boomed again. "Come on, that was a fluke. Let us see if you can actually keep up." The laughter of his friends joined in, a chorus that hung heavy in the air. It tugged at the corners of Emily's mind, threatening to shake her focus, yet she could feel something start to shift inside her. She glanced at Jared, who had been catching every moment with an expression she couldn't decipher. Was there sympathy in his eyes? "Hey, Emily!" he called, pulling her from her thoughts. "Just play your game, not his." The brief moment of understanding made her heart race again. She wasn't here for Kevin's approval or laughter. She was here for herself, for the girl she had become. With newfound resolve, she took a breath, centering herself in the midst of the crowd's noise. She sprinted forward and connected with the ball, sending it soaring towards the goal. The cheers erupted around her as the ball sailed past the goalkeeper, landing in the net with a satisfying thud. Emily was still in a daze as her friends bombarded her with congratulations. But just then, a shadow fell across her. Kevin stepped forward, his earlier bravado faltering. "That was actually impressive," he admitted, looking slightly sheepish. Was this a change, or just a fleeting moment? Emily felt a mix of surprise and curiosity. What if this was the start of something different, not just for her, but for those around her too? The seed of doubt still lingered, but it was softened by the whispers of courage that had taken root deep within her. "Time will tell," she murmured, glancing back at Jared, who offered her an encouraging nod, and as the sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the world in muted oranges and pinks, Emily wondered what this moment would lead to. Would she be able to break through more walls, to challenge the expectations of not just others, but of herself? Just then, she caught sight of the little girl with pigtails, watching with awe, her eyes wide. "Emily! You did it! You showed him!" The little girl bounced in delight, and Emily's heart soared higher. Could the next chapter in her life be written with not just her own strength, but also the belief of others? Let us find out, she thought, as an unexpected shimmer of hope emerged in the depths of uncertainty. Emily's heart raced as she absorbed the cheers echoing around her. The clapping, the laughter, the joy, it all surged through her like a tidal wave, washing away layers of hesitation and doubt. Moments like these reminded her that she was no longer invisible. "See? You're amazing!" Sarah shouted, jumping up and down, her excitement infectious. Emily turned to her friend, and their eyes locked. It felt like they shared a secret, a bond that had been strengthened by all the struggles they had faced together. "Thanks for believing in me," Emily breathed, her voice carrying an unexpected weight of gratitude. With every ounce of strength, she flung her arms around Sarah, feeling the warmth and support radiate between them. As the game played on, Emily's momentum soared. She felt light, as if she were dancing rather than racing, genuinely lost in the rhythm of the game. When the ball flew to her again, she deftly maneuvered through opposing players, arching her foot just right to launch it toward the goal. But this time, she didn't just kick, she heard Jared shout, "Look alive!" When she glanced up, her heart dropped. Kevin had positioned himself closer to the goal, scoffing as he casually jabbed at others in friendly jest. Was he really serious about trying to bring her down again? The smile in his eyes felt unsettling, casting doubt on their earlier moment of understanding. "No, not today," she murmured, shaking her head as she squared her shoulders once more. Ignoring the flickers of old wounds, she decided that nothing could take this moment away from her. Suddenly, her focus narrowed. Emily aimed with precision, willing every ounce of bad vibes to slide aside. As she pushed the ball forward with all her might, the world seemed to snap into sharp clarity. "Goal!" Jared's voice rang out, slicing through the cheers like a knife. The exhilaration built among her friends, the joy was like an electric current, filling the space with warmth. Then, without skipping a beat, Kevin strode toward her, his demeanor still lingering with that hint of discomfort. "So, I was wrong," he acknowledged, looking practically sheepish again. "Maybe I misjudged you, Emily." Emily blinked, and for a second, the familiar voice of doubt crept in. Was this sincere? Was Kevin really sorry? But instead of crumbling, she felt a flicker of determination ignite. "It's okay," Emily replied, her voice steady. "You really don't get to define me anymore." There was a newfound strength in her tone, and this time, she chose to look him in the eye. The hesitation that lingered in his gaze was enough for her to feel emboldened. "Wow," Sarah whispered, barely audible but loud enough for Emily to catch the shock in her friend's voice. It felt like the entire game had paused. Everyone was analyzing this unexpected moment. Emily didn't back down from the challenge. She had fought hard to turn her narrative around that wasn't going to slip away. The atmosphere buzzed with palpable electricity, and as the game resumed, she felt more connected to her friends than ever before. Their smiles, their encouragement, it was like they were all together on a secret mission, ready to take on the world. The sun was a fading orb, casting long shadows around them, and right then, laughter propelled her spirit to soar. Emily bounded down the field, feeling free. Later, as they gathered on the edge of the field, tired but exhilarated, she noticed the little girl still watching nearby, her pigtails bouncing with enthusiasm. "Can I play next time, please?" she asked wide-eyed, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Emily beamed. You can totally join in. The more, the merrier. But just as she was savoring the moment, a figure approached from behind the iconic silhouette of the man she'd seen earlier. He looked like he had purpose, eyes set straight on Emily. The air grew thick with anticipation. Emily! He called, his voice cutting through the evening dusky warmth. All eyes turned to him, and Emily felt a shot of curiosity fizz through the crowd. Who was he, and what did he expect from her? The thrill of possibility swirled around her. What would he say? And as uncertainty loomed, so did the promise of something more significant. Would this unexpected encounter lead her down yet another transformative path? The crowd shifted, whispers danced through the air like fireflies at dusk. Emily squinted against the fading sunlight, trying to absorb the sight of the man standing there, his silhouette framed by the golden light. There was something oddly familiar about him, a confidence that seemed to pulse from his very presence. Emily, can we talk? He asked, stepping forward with easy grace. The tone of his voice was calm but firm, slicing through the excited chatter that surrounded them. What's this about? She asked, a cautious edge creeping into her words. 100 scenarios flitted through her mind, each more frightening than the last. Please, he continued, it's important. The sincerity in his eyes made her stomach twist. With an uneasy glance at her friends, Emily took a step closer, her heart racing again. Okay, she said slowly, but just for a minute. Thank you, he smiled, a glimmer of relief washing over his expression. I'm Evan. I've been watching you play. You've got an incredible talent. Emily blinked, caught off guard. Compliments rolled off her back in the past, especially from someone like him. Yeah, right, she replied, trying to brush off the flattery. I'm just having fun. That's exactly it, he insisted, leaning slightly closer. You're having fun, and you make it look easy. But I also see more than that. I see the hard work behind your smile. There was something so genuine in his eyes, something she hadn't felt in a long time. A knot in her throat began to loosen. What do you want from me, Evan? She pushed, though her voice was softer now, curiosity winning out over apprehension. I run a community sports program, he began, enthusiasm bubbling into his tone. We're trying to help kids like you, kids who are talented but might not have all the opportunities they deserve. I'd love for you to come check it out sometime. It could be amazing for you. Emily's heart took a tumble. A chance to showcase her skills, to play on a larger stage than the park they stood in? It sounded like a dream. But a nagging voice whispered that dreams often came with strings attached. What do you get out of it? She asked, eyeing him carefully. Evan chuckled, shaking his head as if she'd made him laugh. Honestly? I don't need anything from you. I just believe that every kid should have access to the resources they need. Talent deserves to be nurtured. As he spoke, the crowd around them faded away. All she could think about was the weight of his words, the possibility he was laying before her. The idea of being taken seriously, really being seen, was intoxicating. But just as doubt crept in, another part of her shimmered with hope. What if it doesn't work out? She stammered, still resisting. Then it doesn't work out. But what if it does? What if you end up inspiring a whole new wave of kids? Emily's heartbeat quickened again, but this time it was excitement mingling with fear. She looked back at her friends. Their faces told her they were waiting for her decision, ready to jump into whatever she chose. The little girl with the pigtails was still watching, her eyes wide with admiration. What's the next step? She finally asked, her voice steady. Evan smiled wider now, an expression full of possibility. Let's meet up later this week. I promise I'll make it worth your time. Just as they exchanged numbers, Emily noticed Kevin standing near the sidelines, his brows furrowed in contemplation. Their eyes met for just a moment, but it was enough to make Emily wonder about the connections she was forging and those she might be leaving behind. Feeling a blend of exhilaration and trepidation, she looked back at Evan. Okay. Let's do this. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the field, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that this decision could change everything. What would this new opportunity unfold? Would she reshape her story yet again? And just as the eventful day began to fade, an unshakable feeling pulsed through her. This path brimmed with promise, yet the shadows of doubt were not far behind. Would she gather the courage needed to keep moving forward, or would old fears pull her back into the dark? Emily spent the next few days in a whirl of thoughts and emotions. The conversation with Evan replayed in her mind like a catchy song full of possibilities yet tinged with unease. The more she thought about it, the more excited she became at the thought of what this program could mean for her. Yet shadows of hesitation lingered, inching into her confidence. Monday arrived too quickly, the air crisp with the promise of autumn. As she walked to school, clutching her backpack with both hands, Emily kept glancing down at the phone where Evan's number was stored. At lunch, she sat with her friends, the chatter around her a comforting white noise. They didn't know the opportunity that lay ahead. She hadn't shared the details yet. "Hey Sarah," her best friend chirped, breaking her reverie. "You've been kind of quiet today. What's up?" Emily hesitated, biting her lip. "I might be doing something big soon." "Oh, like what?" Alyssa leaned in, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. There's this sports program. I met a guy who runs it. He thinks I have potential." The excitement in their expressions swelled. "That's amazing!" Sarah exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. "But," Emily's voice faltered, "there's a chance it won't work out. What if I embarrass myself?" Alyssa reached across the table, squeezing Emily's hand. "You won't. You've got this. Trust in yourself." Emily smiled, grateful for their support, but still battling that voice in her head. They continued to discuss their week, school projects, gossip about the latest music, and preparations for the upcoming game. But while the world around her ebbed and flowed with casual ease, Emily felt stuck, caught in a whirlwind of doubt. Later that afternoon, she found herself wandering into the school gym, drawn to the familiar scent of sweat and polished wood. A few friends were shooting hoops, laughter filling the air. She sighed, watching them with an ache in her chest. This was her refuge, a place where she could be herself. Just then, a ball rolled her way. She picked it up, considering. A few dribbles and a shot later, it swooshed through the net. The cheers from her friends rippled through her, a familiar rush of adrenaline sparking her courage. "See, what did I say? You've got skills!" Kevin called out, grinning wide. She laughed, a flutter of warmth igniting in her chest. That night the sparkle of stars twinkled through her bedroom window, and Emily found herself staring up at them, wondering what her next move should be. The weight of decisions pressed against her, the pressure to make the right choice tightening around her. But then, that glimmer of hope surged inside her again, a small spark flickering against the dullness of doubt. She thought of the little girl from the park, eyes shining with admiration. She thought of how she could inspire others just like Evan said. She took a deep breath, clutching her phone. It was time to take the leap. With a resolve settling deeper into her bones, Emily typed out a message to Evan, her fingers shaking slightly as she pressed send. "Hi Evan, I'm ready to meet up." As she lay in bed, the quiet enveloped her, leaving her heart racing. The decision felt monumental, a step into the unknown. She wondered how different her life could be. What would tomorrow bring? Just when peaceful anticipation washed over her, her phone buzzed with a reply. "Great! Let's South meet at the park. Looking forward to it." Emily smiled, but a knot of anxiety twisted tight in her stomach again. What if this was the start of something bigger, or the beginning of new fears? As she drifted off to sleep, the question remained, was she truly ready to embrace the challenge and all that might come with it? The dawn would bring answers, but would she have the strength to face them? The sun peeked through Emily's curtains, spilling warm light across her room. She squinted, feeling the lingering excitement from the night before. Today felt different, like she was standing on the edge of something big. The flutter of nerves tangled in her stomach, threatening to steal her focus. But she refused to give in. Today was about taking that leap. After a quick breakfast, she slipped on her favorite hoodie, feeling the soft fabric wrap around her like a protective shield. As she walked toward the park, each step echoed her determination. The air was crisp and refreshing, filled with hints of upcoming fall color. She could almost see herself in Evan's program, thriving and pushing herself beyond what she thought was possible. When she arrived at the park, the familiar sights of children playing, joggers moving along the path, and parents watching over their little ones welcomed her like an old friend. The heart of the park thumped with life. She glanced around, searching for Evan. Despite her uncertainty, excitement bubbled beneath the surface, and then, there he was. Evan stood just a few feet away, a warm smile on his face as he waved. "Hey, Emily! I'm so glad you made it." "Thanks for setting this up," she replied, trying to sound more confident than she felt. The way he looked at her made the apprehension shrink just a little. "Of course. I think this program will be a great opportunity for you," he said, his eyes sparkling with sincerity. "But remember, it's about more than just sports. It's about growing, learning, and sometimes failing." Emily swallowed hard. "Failing?" "Yeah," he said, nodding. "Every great athlete has faced setbacks. What matters is how you rise after that. It's okay to be scared. Everyone is at some point. What's crucial is to keep going." His words struck a chord. The knot in her stomach turned to a solid ball of energy. What if he was right? What if failure was just part of the discovery? Evan led her to a grassy area, where they warmed up, talking and laughing, breaking down Emily's walls brick by brick. He introduced her to a few other kids who had joined the program, all of them sharing their own fears and aspirations. The openness among them felt refreshing, like they were all in this journey together. After some basic practice drills, Evan gathered them around. "All right, team. We're going to do some drills to help you understand your strengths. Just remember, this is about pushing your limits and learning how to embrace challenges, all right?" Emily took a deep breath and nodded. She felt a fire ignite in her, urging her forward. They began running through drills, and with each attempt, she felt her confidence building. The laughter, the sweat, the camaraderie, it was all so invigorating. Just as her heart swelled with triumph, Evan called for a break and went over to her. "You're doing amazing, Emily. I can see potential in you." The warmth of his praise flooded her with joy. In that moment, she could envision herself not just participating but excelling. But as the session progressed, the doubts crept back in. What if she messed up? What if it didn't work out as she hoped? Would this newfound passion slip through her fingers like grains of sand? When it was time to wrap up, Evan caught her gaze. "You did well today. But remember, the path won't always be smooth. What matters is that you keep pushing forward, even when it gets tough." He turned to leave but then paused. "Oh, and before you go, have you thought about what your goals are? It might help you to define them." Emily's heart raced again. "Goals?" she echoed, already feeling a world of possibility open up before her. "Yes. Think about it, and we can talk more next time," he replied, giving her a thumbs up as they parted ways. As she walked home, Emily felt lighter, energized by the day's events and Evan's encouragement. Yet the question lingered, what goals would she set for herself? Would they challenge her enough to grow? The promise of tomorrow lay ahead, each possibility sparkling like the sun in the sky. But would the shadows of doubt come creeping back, or would she find the courage she needed? Emily strolled through the park, the familiar sights urging her into action. The air was thick with possibility, yet a sense of uncertainty clung to her. She had seen Evan since that first training session, and with every practice, he ignited a small fire within her to push past her limits. But what if that fire flickered and went out? "Hey, Emily!" His voice rang out like a cheerful bell. She turned, catching sight of Evan approaching with his usual warm smile and infectious energy. "Hey!" she replied, feeling that spark ignite again. "We're going to do something a little different today," he said, glancing around as other kids gathered behind him, their faces lit with excitement. "Instead of our regular drills, we're going to have a mini tournament." The idea made her heart race. A tournament meant facing challenges head-on. It meant competing not just with others, but with herself. This could be her moment to truly show what she could do. But then, doubt whispered in the back of her mind. What if I mess up? What if I can't keep up? Evan must have read her expression because he placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Hey, remember. This isn't just about winning. It's about giving it your all and learning from each play. You're here to have fun too, right? Emily inhaled deeply, that doubt inching away. Right. I mean, I love soccer, he nodded enthusiastically. Then let us show everyone what you've got. As the teams were assigned and the matches began, Emily felt her heartbeat sync with the rhythm of the game. Every kick, every run, every cheer from her teammates propelled her forward. The initial nervousness faded as she focused on the task at hand. With each pass, she weaved through players, recalling the training Evan had led, her confidence blooming like flowers in spring. By the time her team reached the final match, the cheers enveloped her like a warm blanket. Just a few minutes left, and they were close to winning. The score was tied. Would this be the moment she had longed for? As the final whistle blew, Emily's breath caught in her throat. Each moment felt magnified, time stretching like taffy. She received the ball. It felt alive under her foot. With a surge of adrenaline, she charged forward. Jared was watching from the sidelines, a look of respect softening his previous hard edges. Come on, Emily! You can do it! His encouragement rippled through her. She focused on the goal ahead, her teammates shouting her name, and the world narrowed down to just her and that ball, gliding across the grass. In that split second, she let go, kicking with all her might. The ball shot forward, spiraling towards the net. Yes! Go! Came the roar from her friends, their hands raised in anticipation. As the ball struck the back of the net, a wave of pure joy flooded over her. The exhilaration of achieving something incredible washed over every doubt. Cheers erupted, and she was swept into a whirl of celebration. But even amidst the excitement, a familiar edge clenched at her heart. Kevin was standing near the field, surrounded by his friends, a look of surprise etched across his face. For years, his harsh words had haunted her, but today felt different. We did it! She shouted exuberantly, glancing in Jared's direction, who grinned back with sincerity. Emily! You were amazing! Sarah rushed forward, wrapping her in a powerful hug, her joy spilling over. This was it. This was her moment, not just the success in the game, but the dawning realization that she was redefining her story. It wasn't just about soccer, it was about claiming her space in the world, embracing the support, and lifting others with her. Suddenly, the crowd around Kevin hushed, and all eyes turned toward Emily, waiting for her next move. She took a deep breath, the weight of old doubts evaporating into mist. This was also her chance to transform that negativity into something positive. Hey, Kevin! She called out, her voice ringing with newfound strength. I'm not just trying anymore. I've succeeded. A ripple of silence passed through the group, and slowly, Kevin stepped forward, uncertainty clouding his expression. I was wrong, he admitted hesitantly. You've really come a long way. His admission hung in the air, and Emily felt the impact, the power of vulnerability. It was like a door had opened, connecting them. Thank you, she replied, her heart light and free. We can all grow, right? It's about moving forward together. Surrounded by her cheering friends, Emily felt an adrenaline rush as she embraced this pivotal moment, determination igniting her future. The festival of laughter and applause swirled around her, igniting the sense of community she had longed for. Each face glowed with encouragement, weaving a tapestry of support she never felt she deserved before. Emily had gone far beyond that little girl sitting alone by the fence. She realized that she was a beacon of hope, resilience, and inspiration, not just for herself but for everyone watching. The sun was setting, casting golden rays across the soccer field, as Emily glanced back once more, her heart brimming with gratitude, laughter, and the dawning realization that this moment was the first of many. Embracing the future, she took a deep breath, ready to chase every challenge with her crutch tucked safely beside her, a reminder that strength can come from vulnerability. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you just like Emily. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find these incredible transformations. Comment below your reactions and feelings about the ending, because we want to hear your thoughts. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. This is the moment to show your support for more stories celebrating courage and resilience.